Hey guys, how is everyone? Hope doing well. It is a rainy, nasty day here in Southwest Virginia. It's like in the mid 40s right now, but around, I don't know, 1 in the evening. But the temperature is supposed to drop toward sunset below freezing and turn to pure crap. Probably snow, don't know how much, but we're getting some bad weather, but it'll be alright. We're not worried about it at all. What have we got on the bench? ms660 kit saw. Now I know these are not everyone's cup of tea. There's people out there that absolutely hate anything Chinese. On some stuff I'd absolutely agree with you, and if you asked me 2 years ago, I'd tell you there's no way in hell I'd buy another one of these, but I'm the type of person that'll wait until something gets better and give it another try. And the last two we done are doing really well. I've had that 372 kit out a couple of times. I've beat the mortal living shit out of it. It takes everything you want to throw at it. I can lean on it in the hardwood. I've fell a few trees, I've limbed, I've bucked. It's just all in all a good saw. The MS440 is the same way. I've not ran it as much. I'd built the 372 after and got to running the 372 and actually liked it so well I forgot I had another saw in the truck that I needed to run and ended up just using the 372 the whole time. I can see why so many people love those saws. They are just, for me, paired up the 20-inch bar, full house chain. It's just an awesome combo. You can do everything with it, and it doesn't really weigh a lot. But this was my Christmas present from my wife. I wanted to do a 660. Didn't really want to wait on one to come from China, but as good a quality as these parts are, I may order a couple of them to build and maybe potentially sell. I don't know. We'll just have to see, but how this one does first. All of the parts on this seem to be top notch for Chinese parts. Not run into anything yet that I feel would need to be replaced. It's a 54mm kit, I think 92 cc's. Piston looked good, bearings in it, they felt good, it all went together good. If you've watched me do these cases, how I assemble them, you can go back to the MS440 kit where I show I heat them in the oven, have the crank in the freezer for a day or so, and you get these cases up to about 225. If your crank's froze, it will all just slide right together. There's no need for special tools. I do have the tool to separate the cases. You don't need it. You can use heat and a mallet and beat them apart, usually without breaking anything. But anyway, with that said, we've got our bottom end done. I was wanting to put this together for a milling saw. May even still try to mill with it because the 064 I done and the big bore 066, I don't know. I just think they may be a little too hot to mill with, but we may try them anyway. I'm pretty good about knowing if a saw's about to blow up or not anyway. Didn't like the timing numbers on this, but they're about right on par for what a stock 660 or some of the later 066s would be. Alright guys, finished port work. You can see that polish on that exhaust port is near a mirror. Like I'd said earlier, I spent a lot of time on that last night. Camera really don't do it justice, but should be a real nice high flowing port. Timing was not changed on it, maybe a quarter or half a degree just due to clean up and polishing and chamfer, but we took about 0.02 off of our base, which you can see, which should move it back in a better direction, hopefully. Transfer ports, we really done a lot of work on the pocket area of those. They should be able to feed really nice. Should have picked up a lot of volume. The upper transfers timing changed at least a little bit, mainly due to there was a lot of just the plating from the cylinder kind of overhanging into that port I didn't care for. And I'd said earlier one of them had a burr on it. You can actually see the chamfer on that. You can chamfer with diamond cutters or a cartridge roll, a piece of sandpaper in your hand. Basically all you're doing is knocking that sharp edge back. You need to do that so you don't scuff up your piston or hang the ring. Intake port, you can see, camera will focus, we widened that, opened it up, did not change the timing on it to clean up. Probably might change it a 1/4 degree, 1/2 degree, but it will be okay. It's not that big of an issue. We opened up our transfers and added a little duration to the transfers. It should be able to handle it. Anyway, hopefully the next video you see is this thing running. Alright, about all we're going to do with this muffler. I cut a big part of that baffle out. We have matched our opening and our gasket. It's laying down there somewhere. To the cylinder of the saw, this did have the like heat tape to go on the crankcase, which I feel is just unneeded, but we put it on anyway. It does have a dual port. We'll see how the saw acts with that. I think it'll be just fine. You don't want no more than about 70% of your muffler opening anyway, and it does look like they have this hole opened up larger than I would have expected anyway. Get that on and it shouldn't be long. It don't take me a real long time to assemble the rest of the saw. Alright guys, gonna wrap this up. This was a fun one. All the parts were like they should have been. They fit good. You would have thought you were using OEM stuff, and I'm not lying when I say that. I'm not paid by anyone. You've seen most of my collection of OEM saws. I've worked on them all, and the only thing I'll probably really do to this is put a better rope in it, but so far that one's not broke, but I'm sure it will as soon as we get into the woods with it. Used an OEM base gasket because the one that come with the kit was too thin. We had a head slapper, which meant the piston was slapping the squish band, so we had to use a gasket. And with that gasket, it put squish was around 26 thousandths, so we ended up knocking 3.5 thousandths off, got it down to 22 and some change. Intake open on 98 degrees, it gives us 164 degrees of duration. We had to deck, or by decking the base of the cylinder, it did move it from the 97.5 up to 98 degrees. Intake duration 83.5. It was opening at 83 before, so it added 1/2 degree to that. It's just fine. The saw seems happy as of right now. Transfers, I wish I would have actually took them a little further. They were opening at 127. We moved them to 125. Gives us 27 degrees of blowdown. That's a little much for this application in my opinion, but I think it'll be just fine. We'll know more when we get it in a cut. If it seems like it needs more, a little more torque, a little more fuel, we could tear it down and grind on the transfers a little. You seen the port work. We done a lot of work to the cylinder, spent a lot of time on it. Wasn't that it was in that bad of shape, it was just I wanted to kind of push it a little bit, so that's what we done. Spent a lot of time on the transfer area, and actually a lot of time on all 3 ports actually. I think it's going to do just fine. Has really strong compression. You probably best use the decomp on it. This is an OEM decomp. I don't like the Chinese ones. I'm going to get a plug and put in the 372 because that saw really doesn't even need a decomp. What else? This fun build was a gift from my wife. I like it. It's a good looking saw. I'm not sure what we're going to pair it up with. Probably a 20 inch. I actually have a 16 and a brand new chain I could put on it just to play with. That would be fun to put that on with 8-pin. But who knows, it'll probably end up to 20 and a full house chain. That's about what I run on everything. I'm going to quit rambling. Like I said, it was just a real fun project. Just like the other two we done, they're doing fine, both of those saws. We'll get it out in the wood when this snow leaves. It's like 18 degrees today, and there's probably 4 or 5 inches of snow. It's snowing out right now, but it's supposed to quit and warm up tomorrow and stay warm all next week. So maybe next weekend we can get in the woods, but I'm running on a really low battery here, so I'm going to wrap it up. Any questions, as always, ask. Feel free to shoot me an email. I'll get back to you when I can. Thank you guys for watching. Happy holidays to you, and have a good one.